Welcome to Top 10 on Tuesday. My name's Chad Moore. I'm here with my brother Lou. This is where we cover 10 topics in over 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. We're going to do our best. Like a lot of people, we've been economizing, frugal, where you should be, and that kind of thing during this time. Um, which is why, of course, I got a Nintendo Switch last week. Um, yeah, I got a deal. I got a deal. I had some points. They weren't even available, but the 10-year-old been playing this Animal Crossing game free on a tablet, but found out there was another version of it. I hadn't really kept up with these games, and it was on the Nintendo Switch. I've got other friends who are playing it. They're all into it. I had no idea, but got the thing through, like I said, circuitous route. It's awesome. It's a marvel design. You should see this thing.
Okay.
It's You play it as a handheld. You play it two-player. There's controls that snap on the end. There's controls that come off for two players to play. The two controllers can go into a big, large controller that looks like an Xbox. You can throw it up, put it in a little dock. It's up on the screen. It's awesome. Plays
Yeah.
old games like playing Super Mario, but the girls are playing Super Mario Brothers. We're playing Mario Kart.
Did you buy two of these by any chance?
Just one.
Yeah, I was afraid of because my son has heard about the Nintendo Switch from your daughter and is like, "Hey, so we should get a Nintendo Switch, I think." I'm like, "Oh, well, great. Yeah, well, Christmas is 4 months away."
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right.
But it's all design is amazing.
Okay. Well, I may see one shortly. Who knows? We'll see. My first one is I think that there should be a baby name book based off of hurricanes. So we had Laura come through not too long ago, last week,
Right.
and I was thinking you could give the history of the name. It's Latin. It means victory and strength, and it was also a Category 4 hurricane that struck on August 27th, striking Cameron, Louisiana, killing 6 people and causing however millions of damage.
Sounds sounds somewhat, apocalyptic names. Like who's going to be Katrina? I mean,
Well, you could do Marco. Marco didn't do much.
well, yeah, the ones that kind of turn into tropical storms as they reach landfall. Those are nice. You
Yeah,
like those? Katrina is going to be a handful. Pretty
yeah.
much
Nope.
yourself from the get-go.
There are no kids named Katrina, right now.
There should not be. Um, Speaking of girls who are trouble, there's a Netflix series called Derry Girls. It's about Derry, Ireland, Northern Ireland.
Hmm.
They're they're in a school for girls during the Troubles, so like early '90s. It's really funny. I back when we traveled, you know, long ago, a year ago, we made a trip to Ireland, and we'd never been really never been over that way, and just loved it. Just loved it. So then, in looking around about that, I found this show. It's irreverent, quite funny though,
Okay.
and about the times and troubles they were going through. You can sense a theme here. I'm enjoying sitcoms based in places that I'm not from.
Yeah.
Learning of others' experiences.
Well,
That's what I'm all.
I liked your segue into your segment. Speaking of girls who are in trouble, I think I'm going to use that just in general conversation with people. My
Careful.
my next one is the C9 table, Watson Furniture. We just got in the height adjustable version, and it is so cool. It is such a cool table. Comes in a fixed height, which we've had for a while. The height adjustable version really just kind of came available recently. We got our sample in, and if you've ever looked at height adjustable tables, they all look the same. Every single height adjustable table, I don't care who you get it from, looks the same. Even the high end case good manufacturers have this utilitarian looking table, possibly encased in wood, but you can still see it when it goes up. When it raises the work surface, you're like, oh, well, there it is. There's the height adjustable table underneath. This is a 4-leg table, very elegant, really cool. And then the other thing I wanted to say about Watson is that because all these products come into the showroom, I end up putting them together myself. So I get a sense of what it's like for the installer to receive these things and install them. And I also get a sense of the quality of the manufacturer. We had one manufacturer where honestly, I'd get done installing something in the showroom and I was like, this is all crap. Like the hardware wouldn't show up. The pre-drilled holes wouldn't line up. You couldn't install the modesty panel. You couldn't install a modesty panel. The brackets wouldn't fit with the legs. It was awful. This one, really, really great. The instructions are all really good, and it comes with a little thing that says "We've got your back." And for the installers, QR code if they're having trouble, a direct link to Watson to figure out, and kind of troubleshoot any problems they're having. So instead of the dealer or the installer calling the dealer calling us going to the manufacturer, there's kind of a direct link for the installers to contact somebody at Watson and figure out what they need to figure out, which we thought was pretty great.
Which is brilliant because we probably don't know how to put together, unless you've already put it together as you had there. But
They can call me; they can't call you.
Well, I'm gonna tag team off of that one.
You're not going to say Ollie, are you?
I'm gonna say Ollie.
Damn
Yes, you got the table. I did not, but I got an Ollie Trolley.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, going back to packaging, that thing was robustly packaged. It was packaged so well that it came off of an LTL trailer, on its own little pallet. The guy just kind of throwing it off to me. It's fine. It was in great shape, and it had some tape on it. It was like lovingly packaged in Paulsboro, Washington, made in the USA. Which in this day and time, I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
People states here working, building. That's the best, and it's just a clever, multi-purpose item. It rolls around. You pull it behind you. It's lockable storage. It's a chair. It's a place for a purse, a bag. It's got a little utility tray that pulls out. It slides up next to your desk at desk level, and then it hides underneath like mobile storage. But and it's a seat. It does a lot, and it's cool looking.
Yeah.
I had it with a deal today, and that was definitely the hit. They loved it.
It's a really cool piece. I've got Ollie written down as well. I was going to tag team with my C9 table, the Ollie. But having the tables here, it does the work tray that raises up, comes up to work surface height. So it's basically an extension of your work surface. Has a little pull-out tray also that can come up onto the work surface where you might have pens and pencils or whatever. And then I found when I was at the standing height table, it's with the tray elevated, you can still reach it. You don't have to bend over to get into that tray. So it ends up functioning for both the seated height and the standing height, which I thought was great.
That's smart. It does have file storage inside. I was standing and presenting and had it next to me raised up, which I had my Watson water bottle right there on.
It's all about branding.
It's all about the branding. When we can go again to see the mountains. So that's me. We got the Ollie.
Yeah. Well, I also just did the Ollie. So back to you.
Fantastic. Podcast this week. I was listening to This American Life like I do most every week. I think it was a rerun, but they had a segment on it with Tig Nataro, who's
love Tig. Love Tig.
Seen Tig in person a few times. Very funny, and she's been in some films. Instant Family was one. She played kind of like a family, counselor. Anyway, great comic. But as kind of a bumper to her segment on it, Ira Glass said Tig has a new podcast, and it's called "Don't Ask Tig," and it's basically you can ask for advice. It's phrased in such like "Don't ask me for advice," but the first one I listened to, because I'd just been listening to that, was Ira Glass. He was a guest. Hilariously funny. It's 30 minutes, so it's not super long, but very funny. And they've got some little theme segments. You can ask questions. I actually went back and listened to the first one. Her first guest was Will Ferrell. That was really funny. And to tie it all back together, I think it was the second show she had Sarah Cooper on. I think it's about that.
Yeah,
we have.
I knew you're gonna fit her in somewhere.
I gotta work her in. But yeah, I think it's pretty dependent on the guest. If you're into that guest, you'll probably really enjoy that half hour. Funny stuff. Don't ask Tig.
She's got, you can go to her website, and I saw where she's got for sale. It's like an hour's worth of her, as if she was at a party, just kind of standing there awkwardly, not really communicating with anybody, but, with a drink, and then not sure what to do with the drink. So if you had like a big screen TV and you were having a party and just wanted to have, somebody else at the party, you can have her playing on your TV screen. Um,
It's
my next one is back to school, and in relation to children not feeling well, because this
yeah,
was a concern of ours going into the school year. Was like, okay, well, what do we do with our child, any one of them, that's like, I don't feel good this morning, my stomach, I've got kind of a scratchy throat, what do we do? And what it turns out is you go immediately to DEFCON 1. So that means that child stays home, all the other children stay home, and the child that says that they're sick or not feeling well goes to the doctor to get a COVID test. Um,
right.
that's what happens. And
Wow.
so we had that happen with one of our child. All of the children stayed home. The one went to the doctor. And then the next day, her brother was like, I don't know if I feel very good. And I was like, okay, you do understand what happens here, because this happened yesterday. Nobody goes to school. You're going to the doctor. And so it was like, let me ask you again. Like, if you don't feel good, fine, but how do you really feel? And he was like, I think I'm going to go to school. And he told me
Yeah,
later, he's like, yeah, once I got to school, I was feeling better. It's like, yeah, there's none of this like, I might feel good, I might not feel good. We're
kind
immediately
of
at
tired.
DEFCON 1 if you're not feeling well.
Yeah, do you feel this bad?
Right.
Q-tip up nose bad? How bad? Cora this morning's like, I've got a little bit of a headache. It's not like a COVID headache. I'm like, well, I'm glad you know the difference. Good. And she's learned
I'm
that during this
sick, but I'm not sick, sick.
sick. It's not the COVID. The last one I got, hey, they say that an interior designer's house is often never finished. Same is true with furniture reps. If you
Mm,
combine the two, it's really, really never finished.
I would
Um,
know nothing of that.
yeah, this week we made another step towards completion, and we finally got a sofa. For the longest, we've had a collection of random lounge pieces, sometimes covered with blankets, while trying to find that sofa. We looked at
Right.
a lot of things, looked at a lot. I mean, a lot. And I'm tough on that. It's hard for me
Yeah.
to go to a retail store and just not going to like it that much. But this was from Marquee, one of our longtime manufacturers. It's called the Dane. They plushed it out with a few things, little modifications. They mostly do hospitality. Obviously, they do a little residential too. It's gorgeous. So anyway, beautiful, beautiful piece that I will hopefully, through the magic of video editing, there will be an image of
Yeah.
somewhere.
Well, as you know, we have a beater sofa. In essence, it's basically we were using the hodgepodge of lounge pieces that we had, and I finally was like, we have to have a sofa. So we bought basically the cheapest sofa we could find, and it looks it, and which is fine because the kids have really destroyed it. It's an ugly, ugly, ugly thing that would not expect to find in a designer and a furniture rep's house. But for our time in our life, it functions as a seat, and nothing else.
We almost ended up with a few different off of Craigslist or buy sell trade on Facebook Marketplace just because we needed something.
Yeah.
But
All right,
yeah,
my last one is a comment that I saw on a Facebook friend's post. Facebook friend of mine tends to post political comments frequently on Facebook in the
love
guise
that.
of wanting to know what the other side is thinking, but really just to attack the other side is what I see. And so, of
Yes.
course, it falls apart into this toxic back and forth of strangers yelling at each other. And this one comment, it just made me so sad. Her statement was, "If that's what you believe, I hate you." And I thought that like almost perfectly encapsulates where we are as a society right now, where everything is in
Yeah.
absolutes. If you're Republican, that means you're sexist, racist, you hate minorities and immigrants. If you're a Democrat, then that means you're a socialist baby killer that hates the police. And none of that's true. But what's funny is if you were like talking to a Democrat and said, does this define you? They'd say no. But the way you described the Republicans was right on. And if you ask the Republicans, they would say the exact opposite. Um,
Yeah. Well,
and
they
the and the
might, you
truth is, what's that?
might add a few that you missed too.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I was being kind in my descriptions. Um, but the truth is, nothing is absolute. Everything's layered. Everything's far more complicated than we give it to be. And my general take on all of it is, if you want to have a discussion with somebody about politics, go have a cup of coffee, sit down face to face across from each other. And I think you'll find you have more in commonality than you have in difference. Stop it with the social media discourse on politics.
Oh, that's a very good idea, brother. That's very reasonable and kind. I
Yeah.
was going to say in that way, while having coffee, you can tell them that you hate them in person.
And with that, that concludes our top 10 on Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in. Later.
Everybody be out there.
All right. Bye.